for to give you no pain. After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed. And the story it told of a river that flowed made me sad to think it was dead. You see, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are back to Big Man Campus, and we are live Thursday, January 26, 2017. My name is Jeff. They call me the Big Man Campus here. As always, my co-host Ryan. Ryan, that song is dedicated to you because I think you're pretty much out in the desert on a horse with no name at this point with your plays.
Yeah.
It's been a tough season for you, but as we keep saying, I mean, you're only
There's
one
not really
game
much
down.
you need to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Everyone kind of knows.
I think it's impressive, Ryan, that you still come on here every day, though, and, you give plays out,
Yeah.
You basically are at even, basically. You're down a unit. Time to go on a 10-game winning streak. So.
We're going to try.
Ryan's no professional. He doesn't do this
Last night's a prime example of when things are going bad, I mean, one of LaSalle's better players decides that he's not going to play. He shows up in street clothes.
Jordan Price?
No, what's his name? Pookie, whatever. What's the kid's name?
I
forget his game. He averages like 11 a game. I can't remember his exact name. And then a freshman for Penn decides, I'm going to drop 35 points tonight and shoot 74% from the field. So, I mean...
How do you cap that?
It's just kind of one of them things. It snowballs, and that's kind of the slump we're in right now. So, yeah, I mean, we'll try to get one back tonight, and that's the best we can do. You take it one game at a time. So
yeah. Ashamusa, I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic or what. You're actually being serious on that. Yeah, we don't talk about him much on this show. I know he wants to parade around and talk about me, but we don't talk about him on this show.
No.
So, I don't know if you're being sarcastic here.
He might not know because if you remember, he only started to come around really kind of in the heat of basketball season.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean...
true.
Ash might have missed that whole...
Listen, I'm not going to publicly talk about him. He can do that all he wants about me, but I'm not going to stoop to that level. Ash Musa, get in touch with me after the show. We can chat about that. But, yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't really care. I know there was someone on his Periscope I heard the other day saying that they were me talking about it. It's not me. I can't get on Periscope. I'm banned. So
right.
I don't know what went on there. But, okay, yeah, get in touch with me. We can chat after the show. Jim Del Fiore, becoming a daily ritual here in my office, listening to the podcast. Yeah, Ryan, we're trying to get to the point where everyone knows we're on, and I don't really have to do Twitter anymore. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can get rid of it at some point.
Yeah.
It's becoming more of a, I don't really use it much anymore as far as for much of anything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, do that, dude. But we're back. It's Thursday. Another weekend upon us here coming up, and we'll keep pushing on. Pretty heavy card in college basketball tonight. Last night, Tennessee State gets the job done. Should have used them, Ryan, on your play of the day. The loser, Minnesota Ohio State, they just get over the total. I'd mentioned Wofford as well. They were a game that I was pretty high on. I just kind of didn't give you a large breakdown on it, but Wofford was a nice easy winner. Somebody mentioned them. That was a great play. So we had some good plays last night. I had an easy over on my client card, but Tulsa should have known. I had a feeling with everyone was on that game. Even Scores and Odds, the dreaded number one bet game was Tulsa last night. So probably should have known better there. But what are you going to do? Still didn't lose last night, though. That's the big thing. What happened to Florida State? I was shocked. Yeah, really quick. What happened with them? They were getting buried.
Look, it's to the point with me, this is just me, but it's to the point now where I don't take those kind of games this season with much seriousness. Really, just they don't mean much. I mean, I talk about the parity a lot on here, and I know it was to Georgia Tech and a bad loss for them, but it just seems that everyone has one of them losses this year. That's just kind of the way it is. So I think they'll be fine personally, but what do you make of it?
Well, I mean, it's definitely is a tough loss. I mean, it's a lot of. I mean, I can understand losing like on a buzzer beater or something, but I mean, they were pretty pathetic in the first half. Yeah. I mean, all due respect to them, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I still think Florida State's good.
Yeah, agreed.
One thing they have to get fixed is they're not very good defensively. I mean, they have to fix that. Some little things they need to fix. And look, we've talked about it before. Listen, I think what Leonard Hamilton can do with kind of subbing people out and having so much depth and everything is great. But look, I mean, he's not a great X and O coach. I mean, that's concerning going forward. All these other schools, Kansas, Villanova, Kentucky, Duke, whoever you want to talk about, good coaches. I'm not sure I want to put Leonard Hamilton in that group.
Yeah, they got down really big early, too. That's hard to come back from on the road.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in a long season, you're not going to play your best game every night. So
it's a shame. Also, one other thing about last night, it's a shame what happened with Creighton. I mean, they really look like a good team this year, and I don't think people really understood the length of Mo Watson going out. I mean, that's huge.
Yep.
You go on the road last night and lose by 20 to Georgetown. That shows what he meant to them.
Yep.
It's a shame because I really thought they were a great team.
They're done now.
I got them at 80-1 to win the whole thing, and I was really feeling good about them. And I was like, wow, I got a good future here. And then, and it happens.
Injuries.
So,
that's one.
What can you do?
That's the one part of this business you can't cap.
And another thing about
can't
them,
predict it.
They were really good against the spread as well.
Yeah, of course.
It's a shame,
Yep.
but what are you going to do? Luckily, you don't have to keep betting them. You can always stop.
Right.
I actually didn't get burned by them at all. Even the game that he went out in, they still covered.
They did.
So, big win for the Crimson Tide last night. I don't think it's a big win. I don't think they're going to do very much. So, is that a big win, really?
I mean, it's a good win for them, certainly. Yeah. But I mean,
I guess at this point, it's like
they're not. I mean,
I guess if you care about the NIT,
yeah. Maybe. I mean, as an Alabama fan, sure, that's a nice win. Yeah.
Yeah. Hamilton is a weird guy for sure. I don't know. We'll see with him in that quad. But let's jump into tonight's action. A lot of games to get to. Not a lot of time to do it. First free pick I'm going to give out. And this is definitely seems like a good side. I guess the unknown is definitely there. But last night I kind of went with this conference and had some success. Did you feel that?
Feel what?
You feel that shaking?
That might have been me.
Oh, it might have been you. Okay. It sounded like an earthquake.
I'm
no.
What
the fuck? I'm going to go with Jacksonville State, Ryan.
Now, what the fuck do you know about them?
Well, I've actually watched them play once this year. I'm going to go with Jacksonville State -9 against Eastern Kentucky. And, this Eastern Kentucky, this is more of a play against them. Eastern Kentucky has really struggled, Ryan. I mean, they've lost 6 of 7. And, look, in conference, they're not very good offensively. I mean, they're giving up they're shooting 61 points a game, shooting it at just 41%. That's not going to change overnight. And you got to go into a team in Jacksonville State who really been a kind of a surprising team in this conference this year. They played well defensively. They've been fantastic. And look at offensively, really have continued to shoot the basketball. 47%, 40% from 3. Like I said, this is more of a play against East Kentucky, one of the worst defensive teams in the country, on the road, giving up 84 points a game. They're 2-10 straight up on the road. They're just not very good in general, but they're particularly bad on the road. I mentioned Jacksonville State's ability to shoot the basketball. They also shoot it from 3, 40% as a team. And Jacksonville State's giving up 43% on the road. They're just not very good. I've learned with some of these smaller conferences, the OVCs, the Big West, those kind of conferences, when you have a team that's kind of moving up in their rankings in their conference, you tend to always get max effort out of these kind of schools. At the end of the day, you don't see a lot of turds, I guess you could say, where they kind of lay an egg. You don't really see that in these conferences.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen it yet from Jacksonville State. They've really kind of taken care of business, and East Kentucky's bad on both sides of the basketball, Ryan. Offensively, defensively, they struggle to rebound. I look at this a lot like Tennessee State last night. I just don't think this team's very good. I'm going to lay the number. I think we see a double-digit victory here from Jacksonville State.
Yeah, kind of like I referenced when you shouted this matchup out. I don't have too much on here, but I will say a couple things. As far as Eastern Kentucky goes, yeah, I mean, the lack of defense lately is definitely concerning. Three things that I like to see in a team going on the road, if I'm looking to kind of back them, is free throw percentage, turnovers, how much they foul, and defense. More importantly, if they're a good defensive team, because obviously teams are going to give up there, in turn, more on the road than they do at home. So the fact that they're giving up 84 points per game is pretty alarming to me. And their matchup against teams with winning records this late in the season, Jeff, only covered 5 of the last 20 such situations. So when they're taking on a team above 500, which Jacksonville State is, 13-9, nothing to get excited about, but still decent.
Actually, right, in this conference, 13-9 is not bad. They're only
overall, 4-3 in, 5-2 in conference, which is good, which is.
They're
great.
looking up at Belmont, who beat them straight up.
They're the class of the conference seemingly every year.
But this team, I mean, they have really been a bad team in this conference for a long time. It's nice to see them competing a little bit.
Yeah,
Ray Harper's done a nice job with this team, and every game's important. They're a hungry group. I think they come out here and beat a bad opponent at home.
Right.
So I'll look to this one here as my first free play. Good luck, Tyler. Yeah, good luck to you, man. Shout out to everyone out there. Omari Price, thank you for listening. Third day in a row, he's listening. Great. Hope you enjoy. Matthew, welcome. Thanks for listening. We mentioned Jim. Thanks for listening. Pride Addy, make them your play, Ryan. Start a streak. Pull that trigger, Ryan.
Let's pull the trigger. There it is.
Ryan, you have a play, though, tonight, right?
I do. Yep.
Okay, what conference is it in?
It is in the what conference is that?
Is it the MAAC? I think.
I think it is the MAAC.
I think you were telling me the one we talked about.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, Ryan. I think you're taking an interesting stance, but I like the play. We'll get to that a little bit here. But Ryan's real, and that's the thing about what Ryan's doing. First of all, he's not a professional. He just does this for fun.
Yep.
He also only gives that one play.
Yeah.
He doesn't like.
So it's make or break.
Yeah, basically.
If it wins, great, and if it loses, it's terrible. So it is what it is. Yeah, I do it just to kind of
have some fun,
help you out a little bit with the show, and
And, we're trying to, have fun, like he said, and that's what we're doing here. Not so good for us, Ryan. Time to win.
That was shitty. That was definitely shitty.
Yeah, but again, let me make it clear. If you're tailing Ryan, that's it. You're
don't do it right now.
I would be fading.
I mean, don't do it right
Penn
now.
was a great win last night.
Yeah.
Thank you, Penn.
I mean, don't do it. Yeah.
There's our girl, Ryan. You can have the one in the green.
I like her.
Yeah, I'm good with. I'll take the one in the red.
That's fine. Awesome.
But yes, look at her body, dude. She's stacked, bro. But we'll get to all the games here. Let's just finish up some of these free plays. I'll go Jacksonville State -9. The other one, Ryan, I'm going to go with Brigham Young -4 at Santa Clara. Now, this is the interesting line of the day, I feel like. But I'm going to go with it here because I think I just would kick myself if I didn't.
Okay.
BYU's owned Santa Clara over the years. We've talked about Santa Clara. They're not very good. I mean, it's funny because I watched them play Gonzaga the other night, and you know what they talked about the whole time? Steve Nash.
Yeah.
That's all they talked about.
That's all they had.
That was the only time they were ever good, is when Steve Nash was there. And BYU's owned them. They've covered 5 of 7 in this series against this team. And, it hasn't been anything BYU's really done wrong. I mean, they've been very consistent from the offensive end. They're still scoring over 80 points a game. For me, the difference in this game is the ability of BYU to rebound the ball and the inability that Santa Clara possesses to rebound the ball. BYU run in this game will have a 14 rebound difference against this Broncos team.
That's big.
That's a large advantage here. And, I still think Nick Emery, Eric Mika, Halls, Corbin Kafusi, they're still very good offensively. I don't think you're going to lose anything on that end. I just don't think Santa Clara is very good. They've had issues staying consistent. They've had issues scoring. They really only have one player, Jared Brownridge, that's really going to – he's a guy that can take a game over. But other than that, they really don't have a whole hell of a lot. You look at the last time they met, Ryan. Do you happen to have that score in front of you?
The last time these two teams met, yes, I do. Last time
Why don't
they
you
met
tell the
was,
listeners what it was?
December of last year was 89-59 in favor of BYU.
Right. So they played the last. This is the first meeting this year, I believe.
It was December of 2016, so it was only
About a month ago. Okay,
Yes.
very good. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So again, that's not every team deserves another chance, but I think we've learned some of these with these bad teams and bad conferences. In a game like a North Carolina Duke, it matters. What happened. But for me, I'm going to lay the wood here. I think BYU has to kind of listen. They've had some tough losses. I'm not sure they can afford any kind of slip up,
Right.
especially if they want to remain a possibility to take down Gonzaga at some point. With a small number, I'm going to take a shot here. Could blow up in my face. The line's definitely concerning. It has not moved, this line. I'd imagine BYU's a pretty heavy public side.
Yeah.
Kind of confusing. I'll take a shot with BYU.
Yeah, in that last matchup, Jeff, they shot 53% from the field, 64% from three. And like you said, the rebounding margin was pretty substantial. BYU grabbed 45 boards in that game. So, this is pretty cut and dry. I mean, that's kind of the side I would lean. I'd be hard-pressed to really kind of look at Santa Clara here and say that, obviously they'll want to kind of get that bad taste out of their mouths after losing by 30 last time these teams played. But
I'm not sure they're capable.
That's the thing. That's what I'm getting to. That's the thing. You have to be able to at least have an opportunity to do that. Like Jeff just said, I'm not sure they're capable of doing that. The way BYU can really kind of score the basketball and kind of separate themselves in a hurry at that too. I'm not big on backing a team in this situation. Plus the rebound margin. I always talk about rebounding is kind of an X factor for me when I look at games. And the rebounding margin for BYU is huge here. Yeah, you do kind of have to wonder, though, why after a team in BYU beat them by 30 points last time, why the number is so damn low. Not too sure. Don't have an answer for that one. But I would take BYU here. I'm not so sure Santa Clara is going to hang tough. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can see that, man.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why it's a free play for me. I'm willing to take a shot with it, but you're seeing 70.
For an example, like that game last night, the late night game, the UCLA-USC game, right? So USC.
Can I get some love for that, Ryan?
You did.
I said USC would win. I told you.
And when you're looking at that game, you say to yourself, okay, home team's getting 7.5 points here. Do I think they can win this game?
Yeah,
you can. When I look at this game, do I think Santa Clara can win this game? No, so I'm going to take the 4.
I just don't really see it. Yeah, again, it could lose for sure, but here's the thing about sports betting. Sometimes you got to take a shot.
Yeah.
You got to Al DeMarco, Al DeMarco, right?
Yeah.
He always makes a good point. He always says, when you're up money, the way to make big bankrolls bigger is take a shot.
Yep.
I'll take a shot here. If I was, having a tough couple weeks, I might not do that, but.
Sure.
I'm in a position to do that, so I'm going to do it. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this kid Kafusi that plays for BYU? Plays football and basketball. I always thought that was impressive.
Well, very
and he's a good football player
very
too.
Impressive.
I remember him, good defensive lineman for them.
Yep.
Doesn't play a whole lot, but I always thought that was a cool thing.
We've seen that with people. We've seen that with Antonio Gates.
Well, it's pretty rare that they in the same season.
Connor Barwin did it at Cincinnati.
Really?
McNabb did it at Syracuse.
I can't seem like I remember lately of anyone doing
lately in the immediate the last 3 to 4 years. I personally can't remember anymore. Yeah. But we've seen it. But it's always pretty cool to see.
Definitely impressive. They don't use him too much. His last game he had a rebound and
that
a point.
Seems to usually always kind of be how it is, with the exception of Gates and Peppers, Jimmy Graham too.
He dropped 5 points at Pepperdine.
Nice.
He doesn't play a lot, but cool story.
It keeps him in shape, keeps him out of trouble.
Exactly. Them kids from BYU, they're tough kids. Let's move on here. By the way, last night that fucking Hornets game. I was on the right side of that fucking movement, and they just fell asleep in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And pushed the game.
They shouldn't lose.
Annoying. McNabb does college bat. Really? I did not know that.
On for ESPN, radio and stuff.
I haven't heard him yet. Thank God.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. So yeah, I'm going to go with those two plays, Ryan. I think two plays that I like. I think are good sides, and like last night. I mean, I will consider maybe another play. As we kind of look through the rest of the card. Ryan, the time has come.
You always say that.
I feel like we should get the song music.
I feel like everyone should just. I feel like everyone should just turn their volumes down for about 3 minutes.
Well, and it's funny, Ryan, because as far as we kind of make fun here. What is my free play record? I think it's 45 and 45 if my numbers are correct here.
Yeah.
Ryan Moulton.
Moulton.
45 and 45. Is that your real last name? I get the feeling that might not be your last name.
Could be.
Why do you care so much about my free play record? Because we've made it clear every day we do the show what the free play record is. Over better in that game as well. Oh, you had the over? Okay, that sucks. Yeah, that was a tough one. But yeah, Ryan, Asher Musu was mentioning your good football runs you've had, and you had a good basketball run this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you've only made about, what is your record, 10 and 11?
I've made
you've only made about 20 plays or so. So
it's a small sample size, sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it's nothing to really. I feel like we should play this. Should we get? It's like
maybe I'll come back from the dead here. We'll see.
Jigsaw over here.
Yeah, tonight we're gonna look at turn that off. Oh, God. We're gonna look at St. Peter's going to Marist here. St. Peter's.
You've had a horrible run.
Yeah, St. Peter's is laying 4.5.
It's time for you to make a choice.
I'm gonna lay it with St. Peter's here.
St. Peter's. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay it with St. Peter's here. This team, struggle at times to kind of score the basketball, but defensively they've been great all year, holding teams to 62 points per game. And that's one thing.
For sports. Whoops.
Jeez, man. Sorry. That's one thing I do kind of like, and I said it earlier. Defense travels, and defense will travel. Defense travels here to Marist, a team that kind of has struggled to score the ball as well, barely scoring 70 points a game over the last 5, only scoring 68 points a game, and giving up 81 points a game is Marist. So a St. Peter's team that is kind of stagnant offensively. I think they should be able to kind of score tonight and score at will. Marist just isn't very good either. I mean, Marist is having a very, very bad season. 6-14 straight up. Not very good ATS. And St. Peter's, on the other hand, is having a nice year ATS wise. 9-5 to the number on the road. They're 5-1 ATS, which I can definitely get behind in this situation. And it's pretty cut and dry for me. I'm just going to really you piggyback off a bad team in your first breakdown there, Jeff, with Eastern Kentucky. That's kind of what I'm doing here as far as Marist goes. Marist just not having a good year. They've lost 10 of 12. They're really struggling. They don't play a lot of defense. ATS wise in the last 15 games, Jeff, 4-10-1 to the number, and St. Peter's 5-0 ATS in their last 5 road games. And 4-1 ATS in their last 5 overall. So I'm gonna go with St. Peter's here. Just piggybacking off Marist a little bit. Plus, I like the fact that St. Peter's has played really good defense all year, and I think that'll travel in this game tonight. So I'm gonna go with St. Peter's and lay the 4.5.
Yeah, Ryan, I bet against. I bet on St. Peter's a couple weeks ago. They're about the same number here. Against Niagara, a very similar team to what Marist has.
They've also won 5 of the last 7 in this series. They've had success lately. So,
and I think what's interesting about usually in this conference you see a lot of close games. I mean, Marist has gotten crushed.
They have.
I mean, they beat Niagara, a big deal. But
Twice,
I mean, they get crushed by Ryder, get crushed by Canisius. Lose by. They did play well against Monmouth, but Monmouth has showed inconsistency. Get crushed by Ryder. This should be one thing I learned about St. Peter's. Well coached, great defensively, actually suffocating at times defensively.
They are, yeah.
They should be able to do something offensively tonight. Marist is bad. And
they should.
One thing about this conference that's good also is, unlike some of these conferences, like the Summit League, you got to get on to Oklahoma, then back up to Minnesota or wherever. In this conference, it's New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. That's about it.
It's pretty close, yes.
Yeah, so this should be one of those. 4.5, pretty good number here.
It is, yeah.
I think you'd be just good. I think you're finally ready, Ryan. This is where, as a sports bettor, I think Sometimes you just got to take a shot
Right.
and take a big shot.
Yeah.
Ryan, take Gonzaga money line. That might be a good play for you tonight.
Yeah.
I might not lose.
I should just do that. Just
Maybe
to get,
Arizona?
Just to get off the schneid.
Yeah, Arizona maybe.
Right.
That's what shitheads would do.
I know, but that's not the
but-
way we do things around here. So.
Yeah. Yep. Can you clear something up for me? Can you guys explain the public consensus percentages on spreads on oddshark.com?
That's actually a pretty interesting question.
Well, it is a good question.
Because
and-
maybe some people aren't,
Yeah, basically, the consensus, keep in mind, is I prefer to find a book that you like and kind of stick with that, because some of the books will cater more to sharp bettors. Some books compare. A lot of the Vegas books will more of a public setting, but some of the offshore books are more used by sharps or whoever. Listen, in college, I've made it clear I'm not a big proponent in sharp money in college. A lot of it's steam half the time, but in the NBA and things like that, I'm a pretty big proponent of line movement.
Yeah.
I've made that clear.
Right.
That's pretty much single-handedly how in the last month I've capped the NBA. I've told you, Ron, I don't even care who plays. Mm-hmm. I just look at the number, and if it adheres to the system, I play it. So, with line movement, some of it can be steamish, and that concern, but, basically it's, what he's asking is, it's a consensus of where all the money's going throughout all the books. I look to prefer and find a book that kind of I'm looking at, but, that's up to you. But it's clearly consensus is a group of books all together, and they put out a common line. Where we go? Let's go to the rest of the card. And see where we are looking here. We will start out. What's the first game on the card, Ryan?
Xavier Cincinnati.
Very good. Let's jump into
One of the more interesting games in the night.
Yeah. I forget what they call this game.
I'll tell you what, man, that line is dropping.
Yeah.
It opened at -6 for Cincinnati. People are slamming Xavier. It's down to 3.5 currently.
Yeah, and it's actually starting to get a little bit Cincinnati-ish, if you ask me. I would be interested in them in this game at this price.
I would.
I think at home they are a very good team.
Mm-hmm.
I think
they've won 19 in a row, I think.
Yeah, I think Xavier needs to work out the issues of like the Miles Davis stuff, and Edmund Sumner's been injured a little bit. Listen, the tough way to bet this game, though, is both these teams hate each other. Both these teams are going to play their asses off at this one. At this line, I'm not sure why at this line you would like Xavier. I'm not sure why.
I'd rather have him at +6.
Yeah, I'd probably like him at the open at 6 as opposed to where it is now. So I think you kind of missed the boat if you like Xavier here.
Yeah.
But I would look to go with Cincinnati here.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I lean.
Real quick, thoughts on the under. This should be a pretty low-scoring game.
Cincinnati
But
usually plays those kind of games.
Yeah, but this total's pretty low.
136.
It's if this gets into the 70s, you're going to be a loser.
Right.
Listen, I'm going to tell you what, Trim, and this is kind of my opinion. Other than like last night, I thought that under was a really good play. I prefer overs mostly in basketball. If I don't like the over, I kind of just stay away from it. But I think anything above 4, maybe you might be interested in Xavier. But as it gets down to under
4,
under one possession or 2 possessions, 4 is obviously a key number in basketball. I would probably look to get Cincinnati here. I think they're really good, Cincinnati, especially at home.
Well, at home, yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't lost this year.
Yeah, I would go with Cincinnati.
Yep.
You agree?
Yeah, I said, yep, I like Cincinnati.
Florida Atlantic, Florida International, no opinion. Elon Northeastern. If you can figure Northeastern out, let me know. They go in and beat Oakland and Michigan State and all these teams, and then they lose to Delaware.
Yep.
So, and that was one of your plays.
It was.
Delaware just
decided to wake
up
play basketball.
Play basketball as soon as you bet on them.
Yep.
But yeah, Northeastern, I'm kind of numb on.
I'd take Elon.
Yeah, Elon.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I would take Elon. This team's been pretty profitable.
Yeah.
If you look at Elon, they've been really profitable as an underdog, and especially on the road. Look, on the road over the last 35 games, they're 25-10 to the number. As far as the road goes, that's fantastic.
Yeah, they're not good at home,
That's
but
fantastic.
for whatever reason on the road, they've covered. And I think Northeastern getting a little too much respect here.
How about Northeastern as a home favorite, 3.5 to 6 points, Jeff? 1-7 over the last 3 years. So.
Yeah, I would lean with Elon there. College of Charleston, Towson. Mentioned it today on SBR Forum. I definitely lean Charleston in this game. I think it's a good play. Look, I think Charleston's a really good defensive team. I mean, really good. And they're right on Wilmington's heels. Yeah, they're kind of the class of this conference. Towson's a nice story. They could definitely win here and cover. But I'm willing at this number to take a shot with Charleston. I mean, they've won 8 of 9. They're starting to get some more balanced. They're starting to get a little bit more balanced in the scoring.
Which they need.
And yeah, right. I mean, they had struggled at times, and their defense is suffocating. I never want to bet against.
Do you worry? It seems like, and you talked about College of Charleston kind of struggling to score. Do you worry about them when they play other good defensive teams, especially a team in Townsend that gives up 63 points a game at home, yet can score the ball?
Yeah.
Do you worry about that?
Well, I don't worry about it just because I think they're going to be able to. I think they're going to rule the floor defensively. The one thing about Charleston that's kind of nerving is they always play close games. I mean, every game is decided by 2 points, it seems like.
Yeah.
So getting points here, I'm definitely a fan of.
Okay.
I just don't like to really bet against that defense. But, Towson has been impressive. This should be a close game.
Yep.
I think in this game, the points are valuable here. UNC Wilmington at James Madison. It's Wilmington or nothing here for me. JMU had been playing better. They had been playing kind of inspired. Johanny Dalembert, though, went down, their best big, a guy that averages 10 and 9, I believe. And for a team that only has 2 double-digit scores, that's pretty important.
Take one away.
Yeah,
right?
First game after him leaving, they lost by 13 to Charleston. So another tough team here. I would probably go with Wilmington, but kind of a high number.
Yeah, I'm good on that game, Jeff.
Hofstra, Drexel, no opinion. Texas, San Antonio, Marshall, no opinion. Southern Miss, Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee laying a gigantic number. I mean, what has anyone watched this team?
This really caught my eye when I saw this today. I was like, damn.
Has anyone
21
watched
points?
this team? I mean, they win by 12 every game.
Yeah.
So, good luck betting that. Wouldn't be surprised to see Southern Miss hang
Someone
that.
will.
But Southern Miss is pretty bad. Charleston, North Texas. Not Charleston, Charlotte.
I was gonna say
Charlotte, North Texas. North Texas is trash. So is Charlotte, so I have no opinion. Old Dominion Rice, I'll pass. Nebraska Northwestern. I want to take the points here, but Northwestern is pretty damn good ATS.
Good team.
And, Nebraska, they don't do a whole hell of a lot for me.
No.
Kind of, at times, really struggle to score.
I kind of like Northwestern in this spot, Jeff.
Virginia Tech, North Carolina. Probably lean over. I mean,
kind of reminds me of that.
Have you seen what they've done?
That Syracuse game? Similar numbers
Good
at
point.
home.
Problem is, I think Virginia Tech's way better than Syracuse.
I hear you.
I'll go on a random limb. I'll take a shot. I think Virginia Tech will hang here.
Okay.
At 16 and a half?
15 and
15
a half.
and a half, okay. I think over is the best play here. Have you seen what UNC's done on the rebounding edge?
Yeah,
they get like 40
they
rebounds
kill
a
it
game.
every year. Jesus. Guy's writing a novel. Thanks, Moulton.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Keep in mind, I made it clear constantly that these players are not good enough to make my cards. There's a reason I don't bet them. I offer this show as a fun way to talk about sports betting, okay. Well, you're not a fan, Ryan. Why don't you get the fuck out of here, you fucking idiot? I mean, what is with these guys? It's free plays.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I come on here and track this shit.
I don't understand people.
I mean, this is the main reason I'm getting close to stopping doing this show. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the bullshit concept. I've been talking about it. It's so old. Yeah. It gets so tired.
Here's the problem, dude.
It's
as long as you do it, it's not going to go away.
Never ends.
So.
Let's read this. Why give free picks if you don't win is my question. 45 and 45 is terrible. You say you give credit about USC, but if you listen back, you were wrong on about 80% of the games you liked. I listen back on the plays you lean, and you're almost always wrong. You'll think I'm a troll, but I'm a longtime fan of the show. Just give you advice. Don't claim to be good at something you're terrible at. Big fan of the show. But what are you listening for, pal?
It's an oxymoron if I ever heard it.
Hey, Ryan, why don't you give us your picks tonight? What are you on, tough guy? What are you on tonight?
What are you betting there, bud?
Yeah. I've had a winning month in every college basketball month we've had so far. But fucking Ryan Moulton wants to come on here and talk about how he's Mr. College basketball. Joe Lunardi over here. I mean, really.
Jeff,
I mean,
like
come
I
on.
tell you, man, as long as you do this, these kind of people are always going to be there.
You know, I try to do something
the way it
nice
is.
here. I try to come on here and have fun. You know, let me tell you something. When I do those SBR videos, I wake up early and do those.
Yeah.
They don't pay me for that. I mean, really. I mean, come on with this crap. We know who this is. I mean, it's just pretty clear. It just gets old. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I mean, this guy comes on here and bashes me over bullshit.
You know what? You just hit the block button, man.
I mean, come on, man, with this stupid shit.
That's all you got to do, and we move on, and we talk
He's a fan of the show.
talk about the next
He
game.
listens every day, but, you know,
Yeah.
really. By the way, I don't have to come on here and go through every game like we're doing right now. I do this for fun. I mean, come on with this shit. Then fade me. I make that clear. These are for entertainment.
Sure.
I'm not coming on here. I'm not coming on here and saying, bet all these games, they're locks. I mean, it's just, I don't know. And it makes me really not want to ever do these anymore. I mean, that's kind of where it's getting. Let's go back to the card.
Yeah, where are we at here? Can't remember.
UTEP, Western Kentucky, got no opinion. Oregon State, Colorado, interesting game here. Moved up to 18, open 15.5.
Yep.
I don't want to bet Oregon State for sure, but Colorado, they haven't played well. Are they really worthy of laying this kind of number?
That was kind of my first thought, was why are they laying this kind of big of a number? So, yeah, I wouldn't. I don't like the game to begin with, but I wouldn't lay 18 with Colorado.
Me either. Last thing I want to say also about this stuff here. There's no one, and I'm not calling anyone out. There is no one in this industry that does what I do every day. Do you see anyone that sits in front of a computer and breaks down every game and gives an opinion on every single game?
I hear you.
Do you see anyone doing that?
Yep.
I'm the only one that's doing that shit. So, you know, again, I ask you, find someone that's doing that, and maybe you should start doing it. You know, that's all I have to say. Like I've said before, you don't have to like me. I understand that. I get there's people out there that don't like me, and that's fine. We don't have to like each other. We're never going to meet each other. But at the end of the day, I would think someone would respect that I sit here and do this every day.
Right.
For free. You know? It just gets old. So, Oregon State, would you be? I wouldn't.
I'm not
surprised
interested in
to
this
win that.
game.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get involved. No.
sure. Indiana, Michigan. Michigan laid 4 points here.
They are.
How about that?
They are.
Not a lot of respect for Indiana here.
No.
I'm sure they'll come to play tonight, though. I feel like they will. Adenobi's out. OJ Adenobi or whatever his name is. He's out.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man.
Michigan's still hot or hit or miss, man.
I kind of lean Michigan.
Yeah.
And I don't say that very often, so.
Yeah. I may meet you at a Trump rally. I don't think you're going to meet me at a Trump rally. Maybe we'll meet another way, but I don't think we'll meet at a Trump rally. Louisiana Tech UAB, no opinion. San Diego Gonzaga, is this too many points, Ryan? San Diego's has covered every road game this year.
Well, this is kind of the has become the patented number, 23, 24, 25, 26, somewhere in that region for Gonzaga, so this really shouldn't surprise many people. The thing about Gonzaga is, how do you continue to get up for every single game, every single night, when, look, you're laying 26.5 points?
Sure.
I mean, really. I mean, they could probably play their backups and win this game. I mean, so that's the risk I worry about with Gonzaga. But it seems to not be an issue because they cover more than they don't. So
yeah, I'm concerned at some point they kind of, you know, it doesn't matter to them to win by 30 here. I mean, if you win by 22, is it that big a deal?
Right.
We saw it the other night in that Portland game. It looked on paper like it was an easy win.
Yeah.
And covered. But I don't know. At some point, Gonzaga, listen, I think they're just going to keep winning. It wouldn't be surprised to see them win by 30 here. But, you know, San Diego has been pretty good on the road. A question from Twitter, how do I feel about parlays? Listen, I've said before, 3, 4, 5 team parlays, I'm not interested in really. But a 2-team money line parlay with, let's say 2 favorites at 5 or less, and you play the money line, you get a positive price back. I'd do them.
Yeah,
I definitely do them. I do them once or twice a week usually. But big four, parlays are meant to lose. I mean, it's hard to win 1 or 2 games, let alone 6.
Sure.
Can you win? Holy fuck. Yeah, but it's definitely tough. So, if you're up, sure, go ahead and bet parlays. But I'm not a big fan of them. So yeah, I would co-sign 2-team moneyline parlays because I think they're valuable, especially if you get a positive price back on 2 favorites. But bigger parlays, no.
Yeah.
Washington State, Arizona. Another big number here. Arizona, I'm not looking to step in front of them.
Washington State's bad too. We've talked about them.
Yeah. Cal Poly, UC Irvine. Any opinion on that?
Not particularly.
Okay. Really? You like Mamadou Andrew? Oh wait, he's not.
He's not there.
I'm kidding.
Not like Mamadou on the chat box.
Yeah, Mamadou's in the chat box. What do you think of them tonight?
Yeah,
Mamadou.
Mr. Irvine.
Yeah. Do you still like them now that he's gone? Or?
He might. Wonder if he's from that area.
Pacific, Marymount, no opinion. Oregon, Utah. How about this one? This one opened Utah -3. Oregon now a favorite, -1.
Yep.
I get the feeling Dylan Brooks is playing. What do you think?
From the line, it seems like he's going to play. So.
Yeah, at this price, I would go with Utah personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a tough place to play there. It really, they really kind of are over top you. It seems like Krzysztofiak is, I think, a better coach than we might.
And they almost knocked off UCLA. So
yeah. But is that really that impressive?
Well,
listen. I think Utah's the play here at this price. At +1, I would take a shot with Utah. And if Dylan Brooks, I guess you're kind of playing with house money.
And what if he sits out then all of a sudden?
Yeah, I guess you have to cap this thinking that he's going to play.
And that's why it's like you got that uncertainty. It's like just forget about it.
Yeah.
It's like just forget about it.
Fullerton, Long Beach. Should Long Beach State really be laying 6.5 points?
Another line. I thought the same thing to myself.
They're really bad. They let Cal Poly score 92 points on them.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. Portland, Pepperdine. Another team. Should Pepperdine be laying 5 points either?
Yeah, a lot of teams laying some interesting numbers.
I get Portland's pretty bad, but
yeah.
Another weird line. Maybe a parlay Fullerton and Portland together. How about that? San Francisco, St. Mary's. San Francisco's actually been a really good defensive team lately. Can they hang around? It's hard to cover big numbers with St. Mary's because they don't have a lot of possessions. They're one of the slowest paced teams in the country. So, they're
not
always
that big of a number though.
13,
not
too bad. I'm one to think San Francisco's a decent shot to hang around here.
Okay.
But St. Mary's, we know, has blowout potential.
They do.
But I think Portland, San Francisco, a little bit different teams. The added games, not a whole hell of a lot I'm looking at here. Tennessee Martin, Austin P, maybe the over there. Austin P's been an auto over seemingly lately. Tennessee Martin can definitely score the ball. I considered Campbell.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
That was a topic of discussion.
I'm serious. I actually did consider Campbell. Peter Loshak took Campbell, which I knew he would have an opinion on that. I definitely think that at 4, I think they're worth a play. Campbell's the better team in that game. They're a good offensive team, much better than Radford. Don't be surprised to see the Fighting Camels get the job.
Pull that trigger, pistol.
Pull that trigger, Ryan.
That's funny. That is funny.
I don't understand why everyone's overreacting to UCLA losses. They only have 3 losses. Pretty much everyone has 3 losses. It's not the point that they're losing.
I think it's the way. I think it's the way they're losing.
It's the fact that they can't get stops. They're a sieve on defense. And look, you see what turnovers do to you, which you can fix that, I guess. But I think we're learning now that the Pac-12 is a pretty good conference. You get USC, Arizona, Oregon, Utah.
USC couldn't miss from 3 last night either.
Yeah,
they had a ton of threes.
True. I also noticed they dunk a lot, don't they?
Who's that?
USC.
Oh, USC.
They dunk a lot.
Uh-huh.
But I liked the way USC allowed the fact of they didn't allow UCLA to take the lead. They were close. There were times when they made runs, but USC kept their foot on the trigger.
And look, that's what I think, and that's what I think kind of separates good players from great players, really. I mean, you have all these fantastic recruits come in for UCLA. You know, I mean, you can name a bunch of them this year. But if I was a head coach or an assistant coach and I was going out on the recruiting trail, I was watching these kids play. Wow, he scored 37 points tonight. That's fantastic. To me, though, I want to pay a little bit more. I know what I'm going to get from these kids offensively. I know that. But I want to pay attention to them on the defensive end of the court. I remember one of our good friends the other night was telling us about a Michigan recruit, Eli Brooks, right?
Yeah.
He said the big thing that stood out to me when I watched him play was when he scores or when his team scores, he hustles back to the other end. He says, I don't see kids do that anymore.
Well, Eli Brooks
I mean, that's an example of something that I'm talking about. Little things that kids do, it's whether it's hustle or on the defensive end, that I think separates them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that's where you find out, is a basketball player legit or is he not legit? Because, no one ever – I don't think there's a lot of guys that want to play defense. There's not a lot. Like, I remember, when we were younger, like, it was always cool to get the score of the basket or whatever. And, and what Eli Brooks, with him, I mean, he's going to Michigan for a reason. I'm going to tell you right now, Spring Grove is a bad basketball team.
They are bad.
I mean, he's all they have.
All they have, yep.
And the fact that he was cited by John Beeline, that's impressive, and that's why, because he hustles, he plays hard.
Yep.
UCLA was up by 10 to start the game.
Actually, they were up by 7.5. They were favored by 7.5.
I mean, but so why do I care that they were up by 10 2 minutes into the game? Does that mean anything at all to you?
Not particularly.
I mean, really? Isn't that why they play 40 minutes?
Right.
Yeah, Ash, I get you like UCLA. That's fine. I just don't think they're very good defensively. That's all.
And that's definitely.
But hey, St. John's got a big win last night. But no, we'll see. We'll see with UCLA. They can definitely score. We know that.
Oh yeah.
They need to get Thomas Welsh more involved. He needs to get more touches. TJ Leaf didn't get a lot of touches either. They have the players.
Right.
They just need to get some stops. Because everyone else that's better than them is good on defense.
Exactly.
Arizona's the best in the Pac-12. I would agree right now. Ryan, do you have 5 questions here?
We got 5.
Or buy or sell? What do we
got 5.
Okay, let's jump into something else.
5.
By the way, did you hear me mention at all, other than today on the show, very quickly, that I said I think USC can win this game? Did you hear me say that? Did you hear me say it last night at all? Did I rave about it on Twitter? Did I?
No.
When I started the show today, did I include it in my record?
Well, no.
I mean, we don't get more transparent than what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Everything I do is on camera, on wiretap here.
Yeah.
What do you got, Ryan?
First question here.
Can it be? Hopefully, it's something not about sports.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I know. The next time we do, actually, one is not. Well, one's
good.
kind of. It's about sports, but it's like a fun one, I think.
Yeah.
I'll incorporate some non-sports questions next time. But,
okay. No problem.
It is a sports show.
I was just kidding around.
Number one, there was discussions the other day that the Cleveland Cavaliers turned down a trade involving Carmelo Anthony.
Right.
Would that have worked in Cleveland? Would Carmelo Anthony in Cleveland, would that have worked?
Well, I think he needs to change the scenery. I think he needs to get away from what's going on in New York.
I think a lot of people would agree with that.
I think he needs to accept the fact that he's not a role player. I don't think he's a star anymore. So he might have to maybe coexist with other stars.
I don't think he could do that.
Well, then he's going to stay with
I don't think it would have worked.
I also think Dan Gilbert's not. I mean, and that's why they don't like. They have a lot of animosity towards each other, him and LeBron, because he said, "Well, Gilbert doesn't want to spend any money." Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a good question, Ryan. If he can accept that he's going to be second or third on that team, yeah.
What's your gut reaction? It's first, yes or no when you hear the question?
I think it will work. I do.
I really didn't think
I think it would work. I do. I would like to see him move on because I still think he has something left in him. I still think he could drop 30 if he wants. I just think he's kind of – it was like me when I was at the bank. I was kind of checked out. I still thought I was pretty good at it, but I didn't care anymore. I was over it.
At the end of the day, the moral of this question is there's only one basketball to go around.
I know. Well,
and with him, LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love,
yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm not big on that. Just not. So
Yeah, I mean, Sonny's right. He demands a double team. I mean, that's always going to help. But it worked in Miami sooner or later.
you can't
I mean,
double him and LeBron though.
Well, that's the point.
I mean-
you'll double one and go to the other.
Right.
But yeah, look, I mean, it worked in Miami eventually.
Eventually.
It's looking to work so far in Golden State.
Right.
We'll see how that goes. Back to Ashamusa. What team is for real to you guys other than Gonzaga? I think we talked about this plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to listen to the
A
other
lot.
shows. Arizona, Kentucky. We've talked about this before. Go ahead.
Next question. Happy birthday to Vince Carter today. Vince Carter turns 40 today,
Yeah,
and he's
heard.
still playing.
I heard
If
about
you
that.
Remember, happy birthday to Vince Carter. Give me your favorite Vince Carter memory, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of dunks. There's a lot of plays. There's a lot of situations. There's a lot of Vince Carter memories. So what's your
coming up? I have a lot of memories because he was like him and Iverson used to duel back in the day. I think he's the greatest dunker to ever grace the NBA.
Fantastic, yeah.
I mean, he's unreal, and the fact that he's 40
And he actually did the dunk contest too.
Yeah,
So many people nowadays skip out on
the
it.
best dunk contest was I think it was in Air Canada Center when he went through his legs.
And when he put his arm in the rim,
Yeah,
that whole sequence.
Yeah, that was sick. I mean, he's still the best. If you can find me a better dunker, find it. He was sick. And now that he's old, people forget about him. But he was just a great player. Though,
What about in the Olympics when he dunked over that 7'6" guy?
that
or
German
whatever?
guy?
That was unreal.
Yeah. No, he's a fantastic player. He always has been. Always is a good shooter too. Always a good all around player. He was. Those Raptors teams were good.
So what is your favorite memory? Was it the dunk
Yeah,
contest?
yeah. The one when we went between the legs, because no one had ever done that before.
Yeah.
And I was always like, oh my God, that's so sick how he did that.
My memory of Vince Carter was actually something he didn't do. Was the miss in the playoffs in 2001 against the Sixers when the Sixers had that run.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It was Game 7
Yeah.
when he missed the shot on the baseline, a little fadeaway
Yeah,
in Game 7.
Game 7.
And he missed it, and that won the game for the Sixers. And
I remember.
I'll always remember that. And I remember Iverson running down the court with his finger in the air. And that's when I think of Vince Carter, that's just what I think of.
I remember that was on a Sunday. I remember.
Yeah.
I was like,
It was an afternoon
what year was
game.
that? 9? It was
01.
Yeah, it was. So I was like 11, 12 years old. I remember where I was when that happened. I remember it was a Sunday night, so my parents were down watching TV. My brothers, there was no TV available except the one TV in my mom's room. I was in there with the door closed, and I was so happy. And I remember I was the only one watching it.
Yeah.
And I remember he went to North Carolina that day to graduate.
Correct.
And he came back.
Yep.
That was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's a great one, Ryan.
Yeah.
Is he the best dunker ever, you think? It's hard to find
that's
anyone.
that's just a hard question and a hard label to put on someone because there's been so many good ones. But he would definitely be in my top 5. Absolutely. Loved watching Vince Carter dunk. Number 3. This is remarkable to me. University of St. Louis. We've talked about that.
Yeah,
They're pretty fucking pathetic. In their last game, they attempted 55 free throws.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on that. What do you think of when
Well,
you think of that?
it doesn't surprise me.
I mean, 55.
Well, with these refs nowadays, it doesn't surprise me because
That's unreal.
these refs nowadays, that's the goal. They want to hear their whistle being blown, and that's the mandate now. 55 is pretty ridiculous,
Right?
And I'm sure they still lost by 30, probably. Yeah, no, that's who wants to watch that?
I mean, 50.
Yeah, it's
I can't.
brutal.
I still can't get over that. When I read it, my jaw kind of dropped. I was like, all right, we got to talk about this tonight. I couldn't believe that.
It's like a foul and a half a minute.
That's terrible, man.
It's crazy.
That's pathetic. That's the only thing I can say is that's pathetic.
Yeah, I don't really know how to really
React to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would consider. I mean, 40 minutes times 55, half. I mean, that's like a foul and a half a minute.
Bad.
That's crazy.
Very.
What did they shoot? Do you remember?
I don't remember how many they made. I do not remember. I should have got that, but I didn't.
Who do you think will win the tournament?
St. Louis did win, yes.
That's a tough question. Right now, I don't know.
Hard to say now.
Yeah.
We'll obviously discuss that as we get closer.
It's all about matchups.
Speaking of the tournament, this isn't so much about the tournament, but just where we're at now. Right now, the last 4 teams are Michigan, Miami, Texas Tech, and Clemson. The last 4 teams out are Wichita, Rhode Island, Cal, and Georgia. Out of those 8 teams, out of the first 4 in and the last 4 out, would you switch any of them around? Would you take any of the last 4 out and put any of the last 4 out in.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about Texas Tech. I don't think they're.
So you would take them out.
Yeah, I don't think they're worthy.
Who would you replace them with? Wichita, Rhode Island, Cal, or Georgia?
I think Wichita. I mean, Wichita's. I mean, they have. Because they'll stay Illinois State, I don't think they're. I think they'll win their tournament, so I think they're going to get it automatically.
Okay.
So I don't think it's going to matter. Georgia, I don't know that they're in there.
Right.
Cal, I mean, they had a tough schedule too. Clemson should be in, I think, right now.
Clemson should be in. Miami and Michigan.
I think Miami's still a tournament team, probably.
Okay.
Michigan, I don't think they're.
Okay.
I don't think they should be in. That's a good question.
Yeah.
So there's a couple I would. Clemson, Miami.
So Clemson, Miami, Michigan, you wouldn't have in then. Or
Not-
you wouldn't have any all four of them in then.
The only one I'd keep in would be Miami, probably.
You would keep Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. This kind of came out shortly before we went on the air, and I'm still not really sure like what to think about it, but it's interesting. Apparently, he's done this before. I don't remember hearing about it, but Coach K had his players come over to his house, and he talked to them after this little performance that against NC State when they lost. He banned the players from the locker room and told them that they could not wear Duke apparel until they started performing like a Duke basketball team should perform like.
Well,
Is that too much?
well, first of all, I don't think it's something that he can do. What, are they not going to play the next game?
Started before.
What, a forfeit?
Well, first off, they don't play till Saturday, and I believe that's a road game. Okay.
Well, so eventually-
they don't need to necessarily even be in the locker room.
Yeah, but okay, so you have to figure they travel tomorrow. So how do you prove in a day, in 24 hours, that you're worthy enough to wear it? Like, I don't get that tactic. First of all, it's not you can't really ever do that. This isn't high school.
Well,
This isn't Ken
like I
Carter
said,
at Richmond High School.
apparently he did it before. So
I don't remember it. And second of all, I don't think it's possible. And what does it matter? He's not the coach right now anyway. He's still the coach, but you can't say your team's not going to go to a game. It's soft. It's not something
it's not
he
that
can
they're
do.
going to go to the game. It's just they cannot use the locker room at
Who
home.
cares?
At home, I guess.
Okay, fine.
And they cannot wear team apparel.
It's stupid.
I agree.
It doesn't even make sense.
It is stupid. I think it's really stupid.
That's like if I have a job, my boss can say what I can eat and can't eat. Come on.
There was a second part to the story which I thought held more water than this, but it's Coach K, so it obviously had to lead things off. I thought more importantly was that the players had a players only meeting. The captains called a players only meeting, which I think in certain situations can be beneficial to teams. So I think that kind of speaks to the leadership of Duke, and they realize that they're not performing the way they should be. So I think that holds more water than this whole Coach K discipline thing.
Yeah, well, no, like I said, I don't think it's something he can actually do, and it's not going to stand for very long anyway. So what, is Duke not playing on Saturday or what?
But it's a road game.
I know, but they're still going to be out there. I don't think you get what I'm saying.
I don't.
Well, he's basically pointing out that they can't do, like...
They can't use their home locker room is what they're saying.
Okay, but you mentioned they can't wear apparel. So what, they're not going to go to the game and wear their Duke stuff?
certainly.
But it's stupid. It doesn't make sense.
No, I know.
So if you did this at home, what are you not going to play your game? You're not going to practice? You don't think they practiced today? I mean, come on. It's stupid. You know, they're going to be fine. Why didn't he get back to the goddamn bench? How about that?
Put him in a wheelchair or something.
Yeah. Ron Hunter did it with a fucking broken ankle.
Yeah.
You saw him out there.
Back problems are pretty fucked up, though. It is hard to deal with. That's for sure. So,
Well,
but
then, okay, I can understand if you're out there, but you're not there. They have some problems right now.
yeah,
I
they
think
have a lot.
But like, look at what Coach K, or look at what that guy Coach Carter had to do to get the team banned. I mean, yeah, the whole city was up in arms about it.
Yep.
Apparel's an issued clothing. Apparel may be referring to outside of the gym. Okay, well, that kind of discipline never worked. Really, I always wanted to like.
We'll see. Well, here's the thing. It'll be interesting to see how they come out Saturday. That's all I'll say. It'll be interesting to see how they play Saturday.
Who do they play Saturday?
Wake Forest, I believe.
Okay. Guess we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I've never heard him do that before, by the way. They were saying
they said he did it before. I never heard him.
Yeah.
Me neither. Unless it just didn't get the publicity that this is.
Yeah. Sixers win again last night.
They did. Somehow.
Starting to believe in this team a little bit. Huh?
You have to, I think.
How about that?
I think you have to. Without Embiid again.
Yeah. Well, they posed the question, what was the more impressive win? Them beating the Bucks or the Flyers beating the Rangers? I think the Flyers beating the Rangers was a little bit more impressive.
Especially the way they're playing and the lack of success they've had over the Rangers against the Rangers.
The Bucks are, they're beatable.
Couldn't get a stop to save their life.
Yeah. I actually said the Bucks would roll last night. I was dead wrong.
Well, I thought that was a tough spot for the Sixers. I really did.
Yeah,
they really showed us something again.
I thought the Bucks would kind of say, you know what, they beat us last time.
Right.
We're not really good enough to just not play hard.
That's interesting to me too. Playing in the same arena twice in 9 days. That's it. That's odd.
Home and home. I guess
that's interesting.
But yeah, and without Embiid, I thought maybe they'll finally start to turn a corner here. But that's what happens when you try to bet on your own in the NBA. If you bet on your own in the NBA, you got to start to throw in the towel.
There are a lot of people that bet the NBA.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone say they win. What do you think of the kid on Jeopardy? By the way, you sent that to me.
Did you see that?
I did. I thought it was kind of cool. Like
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because I remember, and Alex Trebek made comment of it.
Yeah.
When he risked,
when he won,
he risked that amount, he's like, "That's an odd amount to risk."
Right.
Anyway, the champion, he's won 2 nights in a row on Jeopardy. He's actually
he does a podcast.
He does a sports podcast.
Like us.
Him and his friend do a sports podcast, and he's made it known that it's pretty low stream right now because Alex asked him how many listeners he had, and he said, well, jokingly, he said, not as much as we hope to have someday. So it's just on ground level right now, but in Final Jeopardy, you have to risk an amount. And the first night he risked
a random
310. Mm-hmm. Then the second night he risked 739. And so those are odd amounts to risk. Until he explained it. He basically is poking fun at the Golden State Warriors last year, blowing a 3-1 game lead and going 73-9 in the regular season. So that's basically what it came down to. I thought that was kind of cool how he did that. He's a pretty cool champion. He'll be going for 3 in a row tonight.
Yeah, I like him. I like the kid.
Him too.
He's really smart.
Very
too.
intelligent. He's been killing it.
And his listeners are going to go up a lot.
I know.
So good for him. When Musburger shows on Sirius, how about that? He's going to have his own show,
right.
That's channel on Sirius. I'm going to love that channel.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be listening to that all the time.
Yeah,
I've always said
I actually reached out to Brent on Twitter. So
oh, did you?
We'll see.
I always thought there should be like an all sports betting
because he just got on Twitter. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Well, he won't let me on the channels because I've had nothing but bad to say about him.
He cares.
Maybe we can get on that channel.
Maybe worth a shot.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm sure they'll put ex players and
I don't know.
Bullshit.
I don't think any player would want to be associated with that.
Yeah, but it's after you're done. Who cares?
Yeah, but that stigma in America is not really that.
No,
high.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
In Iowa, if you said you're a sports bettor,
Yeah.
they would think you're still in the mob or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting stuff. We'll see what happens with that. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back. Thank God we won't be back till Monday. Praise the Lord. No, I'm only kidding. I like doing the show. It just gets old, some of the shit. Because people can try to say, well, don't take it personal or don't, well, it's easy to say when it's not happening to you, When you have to deal with this consistently over time, it gets old. And I don't like people calling me out. I don't like that, Because if it was me here, and they knocked on my door and said, Jeff, you fucking suck, I would say, well, let's fucking walk outside, fuck boy. Let's talk. But none of these kids do. They hang around a computer. So, it's easy to say, well, don't let it bother you, but I'm trying to do something positive here, so of course it bothers me. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back Monday with another show. We will be, it'll be Super Bowl week. Right, Ryan? Super Bowl week. Props and all that sort of thing. And shout out to Ryan Moulton for coming on here and taking time out of his day to create a Twitter or whatever he did. Good luck. Good luck to you tonight, man. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back Monday. Take it easy. Bye-bye.